Hello, hello. My name is Corrine and from the North Battleford Library with Lakeland Library Region, and welcome to episode 28 of Boredom Busters. So, mask wearing is mandatory now in all indoor public spaces, so I wore my mask to come into this room, but this room is a private area and we are closed off from the public, so I can take it off. Including today, we have 3 episodes left before I take a programming break for the holidays. And today is also 1 month till Christmas Eve. Are you guys getting excited for Christmas, even though it probably is going to look a little bit different? Today I'm going to do kind of an art project / craft that's baking thing. I'm going to show you how to make cinnamon ornaments with homemade puffy paint. Let's get started. What you'll need for the cinnamon ornaments is 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce, 1 1/4 cups of cinnamon. When I went to the store, they didn't have any, so I got nutmeg, which is still going to smell so good. 1/4 cup of salt, 2 tablespoons of liquid glue, and then supplies such as mixing bowls, straws, plastic wrap, rolling pins, cookie cutters, and baking racks. For the puffy paint, you'll need 3/4 cup of shaving cream, 1/2 cup of liquid glue, 3/4 cup of flour, food coloring or dye or paint. I use Bingo Dabber ink. And then you'll also need a large mixing bowl, a spoon, sandwich bags, and scissors. We'll start by making the cinnamon ornaments, and then while those are baking, we'll mix up the puffy paint. Fair warning, we are going to get messy. Step 1 for the Christmas ornaments. In the large mixing bowl, use your fingers to mix together the applesauce, cinnamon, and salt and glue. So I'm taking off my rings because stirring this with a spoon doesn't really get it quite mixed together right, so you have to really get in there with your fingers. So, one cup applesauce, 1 1/4 cup of cinnamon, 1/4 cup, and then 1/4 cup of salt. So the salt is to stop it from going moldy and stuff like that. It's a better preservative, so. Now our 2 tablespoons of glue. And now let's get messy. Depending on a number of factors, like your wetness of your applesauce, the humidity, you might need to add more applesauce or cinnamon and salt to this. This is really wet still, so I'm going to add some more salt because I'm out of my nutmeg. So you want to have this a touch dry because it will dry faster, but you also want to have it that it will come together enough to roll and cut. And this is not coming together to be cut worthy, so I'm going to add some flour to this as well, just to help thicken it. Good thing I had the flour handy because of the puppy page. There we go, now it's drying out a little bit. Once your mixture is a dough ball, go and wash your hands before moving on to the next step. Now we need to roll out the dough so that we can cut out our shapes. Place a sheet of plastic wrap on the table, and I'm gonna actually double this up so I have room to roll out my dough. And then take about a third of the dough at a time. And we're gonna put a little bit more plastic wrap over top of this just to help it stay a little bit cleaner. And then we're going to roll. So you want to roll this out till it's about the width of a pinky finger. The thinner you roll your dough, the quicker it dries, but the more fragile it becomes. So decide whether you want to do an adult pinky or a child pinky. Now peel off the top layer of plastic. And use your cookie cutters to cut out your shapes. And then peel the dough away from it. And don't forget to take your straw and punch holes in these. You don't want to have them too close to the edge, otherwise your ornaments can break. And I'm going to grab a flipper here so that I can transfer these onto my baking sheet. So I ended up not transferring this first batch because my dough was too thin, so I went through and made my dough a little bit thicker and recut my ornaments and put them onto the baking rack. I then took the leftover dough and did it again to get a few more ornaments. Once you have your ornaments ready, put them on a baking rack and then put the baking rack onto the cookie sheet. If you don't have a rack that can go in the oven, you'll have to flip your ornaments halfway through baking. Bake your ornaments for 200 degrees for 2.5 hours or until the ornaments are dry and hard. This is the fastest method, but it also results in a bit of curling and bubbling. You can just set them out of the way and let them air dry, but it does take roughly 3 days. While we're waiting for that to finish, let's make some puppy paint to decorate these with. Step 1 for puffy paint. You make your main batch of paint in a large mixing bowl, and then you'll put it into the sandwich bags afterwards to add the color and then to squeeze the paint out. Mix your shaving cream. And then your glue. And then slowly add the flour until you get your paint as puffy as you want. So once your paint is fully mixed, spoon it into some bags. So I'm going to do 3 bags. And then add your colors. So I do tend to use Bingo Dabber ink because the library has lots and it makes really pretty colors, but be careful because the ink can stain. So I'm just gonna So I have a red. And seal this really well. And start mixing it together. And then we'll also do some blue. Squish it. Once the ornaments are cooled after baking, cut a small hole in the corner of your bags and use that to decorate it. The paint does stay puffy after drying, and it just air dries, no more oven. Depending on how heavy-handed you are with the paint, does determine how long it takes to dry, but general rule of thumb is overnight. And these are finished products. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and I hope everybody stays safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!